Right now, on To The Point, a mother speaking out. Her son stabbed to death outside Golden One Center.
It's unreal. Ain't nothing about it good. Like, he was taking too fast. God.
His life was stolen from him.
Your PG&E bills are going up. Why the state approved the increase as customers push back. And later in the show, we sit down with a human trafficking survivor.
At 13 years old, I was labeled as a prostitute.
How she started a new chapter in her life, thanks in part to a Sacramento hospital. Thanks for joining us. This is To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Tonight, a mother and aunt of the man stabbed to death outside Golden One Center are speaking out. The man's name was LaRon DeRose Wilson II. As Becca Habegger reports, they are pushing back against information from the police.
It's unreal. Ain't nothing about it good. Like, he was taking too fast. God.
His life was stolen from him.
Martha Wilson on the left is the mother of 22-year-old LaRon Wilson. On the right is his aunt Nicole Ramey, who helped raise him. They ask that we not show their faces out of safety concerns since their loved one's death is still under investigation and they don't know the motive of the killer.
My son deserves justice. He did not deserve what happened to him.
Her son died Tuesday evening. Sacramento police say he was stabbed in Doco outside Golden One Center a little before 5 p.m. ABC 10 spoke with witnesses that night.
We just heard tons of commotion going on, and it was right easily 20 feet away, 40 feet away.
People attending a Christian singer's concert at Golden One Center that evening exited after the show and saw this: crime tape, police officers, and an active investigation.
And we are devastated at the way that he was murdered in front of the Golden One Center at a Christian event in front of everyone.
Police arrested a suspect in this deadly stabbing on Wednesday. 23-year-old Malik Wilson, no relation to the victim, police say, is now in the Sacramento County Jail. He faces a felony charge of murder and is being held without bail. Sacramento police say both men were experiencing homelessness. Wilson's family says that's not true.
He wasn't homeless. He had many doors. He has a lot of family. He was everything to me and my family. He's thoughtful, funny, cute.
Yeah.
Wilson's mom says he lived in both the Sacramento area with much of his family and with her in the Bay Area. Wilson was his mother's firstborn. He was the oldest of 8 siblings. He was also a young father who leaves behind young kids.
He's a wonderful big brother, you know?
They say they don't know all the details about why he was at Doco Tuesday evening. They say Wilson knew the man, now suspected of killing him, when they were kids. They're waiting for more information from the police investigation.
I want to thank police and the public for the speedy apprehension of the suspect.
Yes.
The suspect's next court appearance is set for Friday afternoon.
The Sacramento Police Department says they will be dedicating resources to the general area of downtown to address event needs this weekend. We are also speaking with the mayor about the recent incidents and safety concerns. You can hear more of that story tonight at 11. Tonight, the Bay Bridge is back open after protesters calling for a ceasefire in the Middle East shut it down. All westbound lanes of the bridge were blocked for hours. Protesters laid in the streets with white sheets covering their bodies that said, "Stop the genocide." UCSF says that multiple organs in transit for patients were delayed in the backup. It comes as the APEC summit is happening in San Francisco this week. Just yesterday, President Biden and China's leaders said they agreed to open a presidential hotline. The two governments plan to resume military contacts as well as work to curb fentanyl production. But differences remain, particularly over Taiwan. The man who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, with a hammer has been convicted. David DePape was found guilty of attempted kidnapping of a federal official and assault of an immediate family member of a federal official. He faces up to 50 years in prison. It's official. PG&E rates will be going up next year. The California Public Utilities Commission, the state agency that sets rates for power companies, approved more than $1 billion rate hike for PG&E just this afternoon. So ABC 10's investigative reporter Brandon Rittiman has been monitoring the vote. Brandon, what do customers need to know tonight?
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The first thing is that it's a big rate hike. Starting on New Year's Day, PG&E power and gas bills will be going up 12 to 13%, or $390 more over the course of the next year for a typical PG&E customer, according to the PUC's estimates. PG&E's monopoly territory is home to 17 million people. It's bigger than most states, and they already pay some of the highest rates for power in the nation. Some of them called in before the vote to give the commission a piece of their minds.
You shouldn't raise it at all, period. How do you expect people to live? PG&E has literally been raping and pillaging the public blind.
Because you're regulating a criminal institution, you can do more to treat it as such.
PG&E customers had to call in because the PUC commissioners approved the higher rates down in El Centro.
Probably the biggest rate case ever.
The meeting was almost a 300-mile drive away from the nearest PG&E Power customer.
We know families already struggle to pay their bills, and yet we also know that the grid and the pipelines that serve these same families need upgrades.
Upgrades are what PG&E says it wants much of the rate hike to pay for, but that's not good enough for PG&E customers who've been paying attention. Their power company's been committing crimes. PG&E was convicted of 91 felonies in San Bruno and Butte County for causing disasters that killed scores of people. 84 manslaughter convictions in the Camp Fire, all for cutting maintenance to the point of criminal negligence.
They've been diverting money for years away from safety. And now they're coming back and they're saying we need more money to take care of all of these problems that we created that we didn't cure with the money that you gave us before.
What they're doing is they're running the hell out of their system until it breaks.
Loretta Lynch used to run the California PUC. She says her former agency can't be trusted to force PG&E to actually do the safety work that you're supposed to be paying for.
We pay in the top 10% of all big utilities in the country because PG&E is spending wantonly, recklessly, and negligently. And the PUC is allowing that to happen. And the only people who can fix that are our elected officials.
And Alex, the 5 PUC commissioners, all appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom, voted unanimously today for this rate hike.
And what are the reasons that the commissioners approved this?
Yeah, so essentially they argued it's a fair deal for PG&E customers, balancing the cost to Northern Californians with PG&E's need to make upgrades, and it does need to make them in large part, as you heard, because its system has a backlog of potentially dangerous trees and maintenance problems. PG&E CEO Patty Poppe praised the rate hike, saying in a statement that, quote, "We are committed to being the safe operator that the people of California expect and deserve."
I think a big question a lot of people have, are we going to see more increases?
I would strap in for it. I wish I could say this was the only one, but PG&E does have other ways to get more rates approved by the PUC, and they are expected to be taking more votes on increases in the year ahead.
All right, we'll keep following this, Brandon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, this morning, local leaders held a public hearing on the rise of retail theft. Members from California's independent state oversight agency, as well as lawmakers, spoke about the ongoing crisis and proposed solutions. And it comes as Sacramento County Sheriff Jim Cooper is accusing the California Retailers Association of misleading statements about Prop 47. In this letter, he says the association's president joined prosecutors in a ballot measure to address retail theft and said she was working hard to fix Proposition 47, but then stated in a story days later that passing a ballot initiative is not the solution. Cooper says her suggestion to the problem of making misdemeanor offenders subject to a mandatory appearance would solve nothing. He hopes there can be common ground with big box retailers to solve retail theft. The California Retailers Association responded to the sheriff, saying in part, they are committed to working with all stakeholders interested in solutions of retail theft. This includes supporting an initiative to reform Proposition 47 and continuing our partnership with the governor's administration, the legislature, and the newly appointed Assembly Select Committee on Retail Theft. We have posted their full statement along with Sheriff Jim Cooper's full 2-page letter on our website, abc10.com. The Oakland Athletics are officially moving to Las Vegas. They are following the Raiders. The decision comes after years of complaints about the Oakland Coliseum and the inability to get government funding for the new ballpark. The A's plan to build a new stadium on the Strip, and they will receive $380 million in public financing from the Nevada government. The stadium is set to open in 2028.
Every day, daytime highs have been well above the average, but could we be seeing a cooling trend? I'll have your answer coming up.
And later, human trafficking in Sacramento County. I sit down with a survivor who shares her story.
My mom was selling me for sex for men.
We were a little dry today, but that rain really starting to move in, right, Carly?
That's right. We're starting to see some of the showers pushing in right now for our friends in the Central Valley, in Modesto, in Stockton, pushing through the Tracy Triangle. But showers for us and widespread showers and rain are mostly coming in for your Friday night and then into your Saturday. We are also seeing some thunderstorms possible, and measurable rain is also coming in, but very little snow. Unfortunately, we've been tracking this system off the Pacific here circulating, and a lot of the rain bands here have been breaking up. So you can kind of see them in sections here as they move through. The breakup has brought in much colder air, and now the unstable weather conditions are bringing in some thunderstorm chances for us. We'll continue to see that as well tomorrow and Saturday. We're currently looking at some of those showers, and they've been pushing up along I-5 there and moving now past Modesto. We saw them earlier through Newman, Patterson, Los Banos to the south, and then the Tracy Triangle. They're passing Stockton currently and moving toward Rio Vista right now. Now, as we continue to track these showers into our overnight hours, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly clear skies into Friday morning, and that could develop a tiny bit of fog, but otherwise expect to see cloudy skies to partly cloudy skies most of your Friday. It's not until maybe halftime for Friday night football that we might start seeing a few scattered showers in the foothills and a few of them just north of Fairfield. Otherwise, we do expect to remain fairly dry into your Friday evening, but the overnight hours Friday into Saturday morning, more widespread rain, heavy rain around lunchtime, scattered showers, and even that dusting of snow arriving into your Saturday evening. Starting to build a couple of inches possibly for areas around Truckee and South Lake Tahoe, but for the valley rain, a ½ inch to an inch of rain is possible. So do expect some heavy downpours for your Saturday. As we look at the 10-day, some sunshine on Sunday, and we are looking sunny for Thanksgiving.
Next, a story of survival. I sit down with a human trafficking survivor and the hospital helping her reclaim her life. Our next story changed me. It's the first time I've ever sat down with a human trafficking survivor. Her name is Jeanette, and she says that she was sex trafficked starting at just 12 years old. And sitting across from her, I realized we're the same age. We both enjoy art and music. And I kept asking myself, how could this have happened to her? Truth is, sex trafficking has increased in Sacramento County in the last 5 years. Hospitals are one place that human trafficking victims end up. Problem is, not all doctors are trained to see the signs. So tonight, we are sharing Jeanette's story of survival and the hospital giving them control of their own lives.
I grew up out here in Sacramento. I've been awarded the state since I was, I want to say 5 years old.
Jeanette Diaz remembers the day she was taken from her mom and forced into foster care.
I was raped and molested in almost every foster home that they had put me in. So it caused me at the age of 12 to say, forget this, I'm going to go run away and I'm going to find my mom. Not knowing that it would turn into something deeper when I found her.
She found her mom on Stockton Boulevard in South Sacramento. After they reunited, she says that her mom slowly began grooming her to become a prostitute. Soon after came the unimaginable.
My mom was selling me for sex for men. She was actively force-feeding me methamphetamine for a trafficker. They know what to look for. They want to find the broken person. They want to find the person that has absolutely nobody, because who's going to come looking for me? You never would think somebody would do something like that. In my eyes, I was helping her. I knew something was wrong, but other people did this to me before and nobody took it that serious.
Dr. Ron Chambers is the medical director of Dignity Health's Medical Safe Haven Trafficking Clinic in South Sacramento. The majority of his patients are young girls born and raised in the Sacramento region.
I think a lot of people kind of have the perception that it's going to be somebody coming in from overseas or from another area, and it's a much more insidious problem than that.
Dr. Chambers says familial trafficking largely goes unrecognized.
Their mom did it because she needs drug money. She sells her daughter to the guy across the hall or down the street or in the trunk of the car driving around town selling her. These are the kind of familial trafficking situations, again, that we deal with every day.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says sex trafficking has increased in the last 5 years. Sacramento Sheriff and former state assembly member Jim Cooper says state law makes it harder to rescue sex trafficking victims.
3 years ago, California decriminalizes childhood prostitution. So if you're a kid and you're under 18, prostitution is no longer a crime. So if you're a pimp, I'm just using minors all day, every day. When you're up there passing those dumb bills, nobody knows.
Court records show Jeanette's mom pled guilty in 2004 for selling Jeanette for sex at just 13 years old. Jeanette went to juvenile hall.
At 13 years old, I was labeled as a prostitute. I didn't have freedom since I was a kid. My whole life, I was labeled as a prostitute instead of a survivor or a victim. I became an addict. I was forcibly fed methamphetamines. I needed it, I wanted it, which caused me to be re-trafficked again.
But everything changed for Jeanette when she was thrown down the stairs by her trafficker. She was hospitalized and found out she was pregnant.
That was my way to escape and get away. My daughter saved me from being trafficked.
It led her to the medical safe haven clinic where she met Dr. Chambers. Studies show that up to 88% of trafficking victims have been in contact with a medical provider at some point while being trafficked. But not all physicians are trained to see the signs.
There's nothing in medical education telling us to talk to our patients about trafficking. So if we have this incredibly prevalent issue and we have this opportunity, like, why aren't we doing something about it?
In 2016, Dr. Chambers and his team at Dignity Health launched the Medical Safe Haven Clinic. The clinic doesn't just connect human trafficking survivors with community resources. They are the resource.
It's no barrier. We never say no.
Healthcare is always available to trafficking survivors. Systems Director Jennifer Cox says instead of victims sitting in the ER for hours, they have a direct line they can call and a separate entrance.
They've been judged. There's stigma associated with how they might enter the healthcare space by maybe how they're dressed, how they look, how they might act. Remember, they're just taken off the streets.
When you're being trafficked, you're lower than dirt. You don't have no voice. You're not even supposed to use your eyes. If I even went like this and glanced up for a second, I was getting the crap beat out of me.
But for the first time, she felt there was someone out there who cared.
Dr. Chambers, he got a way of like working with people. He has a way of just making people feel comfortable. For me, that was a lot because ain't no man ever cared about my health.
Jeanette's been Dr. Chambers' patient for more than a decade.
She's a true survivor. When she first came in here, she was in one of those low spots. To go from that point to where she is today is just, that's why you do this.
At medical safe haven clinics, survivors who qualify are met with a trained advocate who helps them with more than just appointments, prescriptions, and labs. They get help finding stability, a key to recovery.
It's not about one appointment with the doctor. It's about ongoing relationship built with these doctors where they become like family. And they become trusted, and they come back and get well.
For Jeanette, this program gave her power for the first time in her life.
I just remember begging for an adult to see a sign that I'm broken and that I'm worthy of somebody to care about me and to give me a chance. There's so many years I wasn't able to respect myself, and now I can call the shots for my own body. I have control, and I've never had control like that.
And she's still removing old wounds.
Well, I'm getting unbranded, and I can kind of like just see my regular hand already, so it feels good.
Jeanette is focusing on being a mom while doing things she never thought would be possible, like serving on an advisory board that helps human trafficking survivors.
My pain is turning into my glory. Sometimes it's overwhelming because I'm like, do I deserve this? Do I really deserve this? Because I'm not used to getting nothing, and it's like, girl, you do. You gotta remind yourself you do deserve these kind of things. Just to have a safe person, you could probably save that person's life by doing that.
Something Dr. Chambers has seen firsthand.
It's the most rewarding part of the job. A lot of medicine is caught up in charts and dictating, and you do this and you see somebody that really needs your help and you help them. And that's big. It's big.
I also want to mention that Medical Safe Haven has 5 clinics throughout California, and what's unique about their program is they require all doctors in training to complete in-depth human trafficking training as part of their curriculum, and their hope is to prepare the next generation of doctors so they don't miss the signs. And if you or someone you know needs help, you can call the Medical Safe Haven at Sacramento Mercy Family Health Center. Their number is 916-681-3488. And there's also the National Human Trafficking Hotline. That number is 888-373-7888. And they can get you connected to resources in the community. We're back after this. Thanksgiving is a week away, and the roads, airports, and train stations are expected to be crowded, of course. In California, AAA is expecting more than 7 million travelers around the holiday weekend. They say that most people will be driving between 2 to 6 p.m. the day before Thanksgiving. If you're looking to beat the crowds, they say the best time to leave is before 11 a.m. on Wednesday and before 10 a.m. or after 5 p.m. on Thursday. And if you're planning to fly, the Sacramento International Airport really encourages people to arrive at the airport at least 2 hours before their flight if you're flying domestically, or 3 hours before your flight if you're flying internationally. Also, be sure to check out the traffic conditions and parking map online before you leave home. We do have a link of the parking map on abc10.com/links. As always, thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you back here tomorrow night. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.